Stay tuned to OSBC Radio 104.5 FM, Oshogbo, Voice of the West Nigeria. Time to bring you issues in the news.
So if you look at the Constitution of Nigeria, the government is set up basically to do two things. And people are asking, do we have a budget to be? I would say we still have a budget, because if we don't have a budget, we cannot have government run its activities.
Wow! Arguments and counter-arguments on topic issues and events trending in Nigeria. Politics, rule of law, judiciary, economy, trade and commerce, education, security, name it. Issues in the news on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM in Yabu, Ibale, Oshogbo is a veritable platform to be learned. We are set to serve you hot every Monday between 10 and 10:45 in the morning. Join Babatunde Okutomi on Issues in the News. It promises to be educating and informative.
Edition is the last of Issues in the News on the last day of the month of October 2022. Babatunde Oguntomi is my name, and good morning. Welcome to Issues in the News. Today it promises to be educative and of course informative. We'll be doing much JoJo about on this platform about trending issues in Nigeria. The Apex Socio-Cultural Organization in Yoruba Land, Afenifere, endorsed APC presidential candidate Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Well, we will also be speaking about the plan by the central bank to redesign Naira notes, especially 1,500 and 200 Naira notes. If time permits, we will speak about the efforts being made to ensure that Nigeria is safe after the terror alert by the US and UK in respect of Abuja. Good morning and welcome once again. The guest is very much in the studio. He's a colleague of mine, a senior colleague as a journalist. He's a teacher and a politician, a commissioner 3 in Osun State Civil Service Commission, Honorable Tunji Adesokun, one-time secretary of Okun Local Government of Osun State. You're welcome.
Thank you, Tunde. It's a pleasure being with our people. Good morning to our people out there.
Yes. Yesterday, the Afenifere, we heard the news that Afenifere has endorsed Tinubu, which is contrary to what we've been hearing in the past, especially from Adebanjo, who has been very, very vocal, talking about the need for Nigerians to support a candidate from the eastern part of the country this time around. How do you feel about this development?
Thank you. From what happened yesterday, it became obvious that Ayo Adebanjo had not been speaking for the Afenifere. He may have been speaking for himself. He may have had some personal issues to settle with Asiwaju. Along the line, if you go down the memory lane, when Asiwaju became governor in Lagos State, the claim was that he stepped on some sensitive toes, and that of Pa Adebanjo inclusive. So he may have, this man may have been bottled up that anger. I mean the old man up till now. And when this man came on board again, Asiwaju came out again saying he wanted to be this and that. Pa Adebanjo may have thought this is the right time for him to take it back. But from all indications, he must have been speaking for himself, because we know that Pa Fashionati is the head of Afenifere.
He relinquished that post to Adebanjo at a point.
At a point. But then from the reception this man received yesterday, it became obvious that Afenifere wanted a Yoruba presidency. Well, everybody is entitled to his own opinion. you are at liberty to go and to declare your support for anybody. And this man reasoned it out. Well, this is Nigeria. The West has had its own slot. The North has had its own slot. The South has had its own slot. Maybe he's thinking that in a liberal way, the Southeast too must have its own. That one, it's a personal opinion. He may not. He's not speaking. Definitely not speaking for Nigeria.
Now, can you say the meeting in Akure in Ondo State was representative enough? Although we had the former secretary to the government of the Federation,
Yes.
Chief Olufala, in attendance,
Yes.
and the secretary of the group.
Yes.
Can we say that those who gathered to endorse Asiwaju Bola Tinubu were enough to speak for this race too?
When those people you have mentioned, if we decide to delete them from Afenifere, I want you to remind me of some other names that ring a bell. You see, those are the nucleus of the Afenifere group. Whether that man relinquished his post to somebody, Baba Fashoranti, to somebody or not, the fact is that for as long as he continues to live, he's still a very strong voice in that organization. And if you go down the memory lane, Afenifere in the past used to be the one that gave us the signpost in Yoruba land. Although, like every other thing, like every other organization in the country, over time, some have lost their teeth, they have lost their strength, they have lost their authority due to one thing or the other. A lot of infiltrations, a lot of this or that has happened. But then, if we say we still need one body to speak for us, forget about other splinter groups. Forget about other splinter groups.
Let me take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, fine. Oh, maybe this Honorable Adeboye Adebayo, Comrade Adeboye Adebayo, is a member of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Presidential Campaign Council. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Now, I know you are listening to us. That's why you called in. Yes, you have heard about our discussions on the endorsement given to your principal by the Afenifere. How do you feel about this?
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Good morning, Oshan. Yes, we are not surprised about the endorsement because we know that our party, represents the authentic leadership of Yoruba. And we need so much in leadership because of his experience, participants, and also the richness in culture. He understands what Yoruba people need, and he can actually speak for them. And when they knew things to actually go and let Tinubu yesterday, they were satisfied with the manifesto, his action plan, and they believe so much that he is the only candidate, that can bring about the real hope that Nigerian people are yearning for when it comes to good governance. And also, particularly in Yoruba land, we are full of traffic, and we are creating all along for true federalism, intellectual equality, justice, and equity. And that is what Assemble as a people stand for. So we are not surprised by that endorsement. The only hope and pray that all Yoruba sons and daughters will take the same line and support this cause for the betterment of all of us.
Now, comrade, are we not going to have a scenario where the Arewa will now be saying they want to endorse somebody, the organization will now be saying they want to endorse their own candidate too?
No, sir. The economy shows that you are doing it, sir. And like a lot of people that the division of Afenifere leaders according to it's not based on ethnicity. Rather, they believe so much in the attitude of Bola Tinubu. Basically, achievement when he was governor of Lagos State. So the their passion, their decision yesterday is not to be based on specificity at all. It's not because you live in Yoruba man. And also, you will report that they are called for other people, other candidates, to come and present, their own manifestation. And also, you will report that the Northern Federal Forum, sometimes last week, invited all the candidates, the United States candidates, and showed up. And then, last week, Baba Ahmed, the secretary of the Northern Federal Forum, came on board yesterday to tell the world that everybody that came to the Ashwaji Bola Tinubu performed excellently well in the Northern Federal Forum. Where he told them that on the north, with the agricultural hub of the country in Africa. He also talked about how he intends to make the security issues in the port. So, all together, we see that all of these decisions are not based on technicity. Rather, they are because of his competence, his strategy, and his achievement over the years.
Okay, the Akure summit yesterday signals the fact that Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is calling the bluff of Ayo Adebanjo, who has been very critical of him in recent past. Is that the interpretation of the situation we have at hand?
Yes, you see, and it is not, because for us, in the campaign council, we are not bothered about the likes of Chimaya Adebanjo. Yes, he's an young man, and he's very entitled to his opinion. But what we are saying is that we cannot speak for Yoruba. Yoruba cannot pastor. And we are all aware of the achievement of Bola Tinubu in the scheme of things. We are all aware of his contribution, how he fought for democracy, how they have been in line with Yoruba culture, how they have been protecting the Yoruba cause, the scheme of things in the country. So we are not bothered about Chimaya Adebanjo because he's an old man and he's entitled to his opinion. So for us, we are not bothered about him, but all we are saying is that we cannot speak for Yoruba, but we can speak for himself and his two people in his power. But what happened yesterday, the basis of it is the position of real Yoruba leaders, which we don't just go back to the same. So for us, Adebanjo is entitled to his opinion, we are not bothered about that.
Okay, well, I thank you very much for calling at this time, at least for listening to us, or maybe through the social media in Abuja.
I was listening to you through the Facebook.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. And how is Abuja now? How is Abuja today? God bless you. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
And I want to say that I do listen to your program all the time, and I thank you so much for what you are doing, to the service of the state and the people of the state.
Thanks for those compliments, please. Thanks very much for the compliments. Well, that's Comrade Adebayo is a member of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Presidential Campaign Council. You listen to him.
We've been saying the same thing.
You are saying the same thing essentially.
It's only confirmed what I said earlier on, that Ayo Adebanjo must have been speaking for himself, or maybe for some other small group. Definitely not for the Yoruba people.
But you share the notion that the other ethnic groups will not be saying that they also want to go for their own sons as the
He said it. Adeboye has said it. Last week, Asiwaju was in the north. They invited him. He gave them his manifesto. And I think I have read the summary of that. And any right-thinking man will know that is something to embrace. If you want Nigeria to move forward, if this man is likely to be the architect of is definitely the architect of a new Nigeria. He has the wherewithal, intellectual wherewithal. He has the capability to assemble the best team. He has demonstrated, he did it in Lagos. And that is why today, whether you like it or not, Lagos is number one. He has established a structure in Lagos that nobody has been able to destroy it over the years. since 1999. Look at the continuity pattern there. Somebody comes, he tries to improve on what the predecessor has did, and on and on. If you go to Lagos today and you visit 3 months later, you will see a new face of Lagos. A new face of Lagos you will see. And that, if that can happen in Nigeria, to me, this man is another Awolowo. This is a man who wants to speak to people and has his manifesto ready. He goes about with an 80-page manifesto. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to get the resources to do it. Not that you'll be talking from your something and then you cannot be held down, you cannot be held responsible. There will be no reference later that this is what you said. Look at what you presented when you were talking to us the other time. Look at what you are doing now. So
many Nigerians believe that the APC, the party that produces Asiwaju, we require more sticks than carrots to convince an average Nigerian in the next presidential election because of the economic situation of the country, in the country now.
Thank you.
Things are so, prices,
Nigerians are not dunces. If there is poverty today, we sowed the seed of poverty some 20 years ago. We started sowing the seed of poverty in this country since independence. We did not do anything since we attained our independence. Successive governments. That is the thing we have to come in terms with. We don't judge. You are judging. We are looking at effects. We are not looking at causes. If the naira is as bad as it is today, how did it begin? Babangida took our naira to the market. Instead of trying to do one thing or the other to improve the naira, he took it to the open market. And the naira since then has gotten worse. I remember there was a time a naira was exchanging for $20, and then it started going up. Then people started saying, no, it shouldn't go lower than $20. So we should come and have we should have a rethink that it is not the issue of APC now. It is the issue of where did we begin, when did it start, and then who can redress it. Is it the PDP they were in government for 16 years, and
the APC has been in government in the past 8 years,
and the difference is there, my friend. For example, for the first time, you have somebody who is talking about fighting corruption. In Nigeria, it is a taboo. It had been a taboo for anybody to come up and say, I want to fight corruption. Corruption is a monster. It is the most difficult thing to confront.
Mr. Adesoko, let me remind you,
yes,
that the PDP government of Olusegun Obasanjo,
yes,
instituted the ICPC and what we know as the EFCC
and for
today.
what purpose? And for what purposes?
And we have not.
And how far did they go? For what purposes and how far did they go? The ICPC, the FCC, how far did they go? We are talking about high-profile corruption being fought. We are talking about military officers serving an ex being apprehended. We are talking about high-profile politicians, ex-governors being apprehended, being stripped of whatever they may have stolen, if not all, but a substantial part of it, and being sent to jail. In the history of this country, tell me when that had happened. Was it during the Balewa something? Was it during Obasanjo? Was it except during the time of Muritala, which was a very short spell, which Nigerians did not allow to, because corruption just stood up against that government and destroyed that government of Muritala. So but we have to know that if we are where we are today, we began the journey somewhere. And when we began that journey, did we call ourselves to order?
Do you know the price of a bag of rice today in Nigeria?
Yes.
I
was telling somebody yesterday when he was talking about a bag of rice, the price of a bag of rice. And I told him that next year it's likely, even in 2024, if PDP came into power, I said, subjunctive, God forbid, the price could go as high as 50,000. Why? What do we produce? Any country that doesn't produce what it eats, what we feed its nation, its people, that country will continue to experience inflation.
It was 10,000 naira per bag when they were in power.
It could be.
I want us to be objective. I don't want us to.
Look, I was alive when
I
was alive. I am not a kid. I can tell you the history of this country 60 years ago. I was alive when rice was less than 1,000 naira per bag. Importation of rice began during the time of Shagari. We were never importing rice. It was for political campaign reasons that we started importing rice. We were never rice. For example, every nation has its own comparative advantage. Every community does. Rice, when did rice become our staple food in this country? That is it. If your taste is foreign, then you must be ready to pay foreign price. If your taste is foreign, and even if that taste is foreign, can you grow that foreign thing here? Today, look at the history of China. Look at the history of Thailand. Look at the history of Malaysia. Look at the history of India. Their situations were worse than ours. But then they said no. They cooperated. It was difficult. It was hard. Look at Russia itself. It was hard at first. But then they cooperated with their respective governments. And they undertook that self-denial. They made that sacrifice. And today they feed the world. That is what Nigeria does not. Nigerians, we don't want. We cannot deny ourselves. We want ready-made things. We want to go to the market, pick a bag of rice for nothing, and bring it to our table and eat. How did we? For every grain of rice we eat in Nigeria, we're enriching those countries from where we import, and we are trying to pauperize, to render our people paupers here. We are creating jobs for Malaysia. We are creating jobs for Thailand. We are creating jobs for America. We are creating jobs for India, where those rices, I call them rices, come from. And
the variety of rice.
We are creating unemployment. I was traveling last week with my colleagues along Osogbo Ilesha Road. All those places where we used to find tomatoes, where we used to find pepper, they are no more there. The Hausas are only planting potatoes, carrot and things. Only the Hausas. Where are our people? Where are they? Yahoo boys and Okada. In the alternative, they should bring it to the bank. And if they bring it to the bank, the sources will be queried. The central bank policy is there. If you deposit beyond a particular amount of money, then they will query you. What is the source? I think understand.
Yeah.
So I think it's very, very. That reason alone is very. And there is this controversy. The Minister of Finance saying, "Oh,
she was not carried along."
I think that should be an in-house thing between him and the president.
Should even the governor of the federal bank even inform them? I mean, take permission
that's why I said
from her.
That's why I said in-house thing.
Yeah.
The governor of the central bank is not responsible to her. Responsible to the president.
And the president, has said he approved of it.
I approved. So for her to start complaining should be that is an in-house problem which should be settled in-house. That's the way I look at it.
Nigeria, the next 10 years, forecast.
Yes. Nigeria can be there. That's Eldorado in the next 10 years or even earlier, provided we know what we are doing, provided we are determined, provided we are ready to make the sacrifice, provided we identify our needs and not our wants, provided we identify our men. God give us men who can lead us, provided we can discipline our taste, provided we can do away with our greed, provided we can be wiser in the way we choose our men, and then play down the influence of money in politics, electioneering, and so on and so forth. We can be there.
God bless
So
you.
everybody's responsibility. The onus is on us, all of us,
To
come
change
to change. We say
our
this year
story for better.
will be better.
That's Honorable Tunji Adesokun. He's been a worthy guest on this platform this morning. He's a Commissioner 3, Osun State Civil Service Commission, journalist, teacher, politician, preacher, evangelist, and everything.
Thank you.
I want to thank you most sincerely for coming.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank Comrade Adebayo, who had to call in from Abuja. I was listening to us on Facebook, on the social media. Olatunji Ojo or Ojo Olatunji at the Tunde Bolatito and Kende Ajibade will call you. I thank you, Tony Ojeyemi. Until next Monday, when we shall be meeting on this platform again. Babatunde Oguntomi is my name. I wish you a very nice week.
So if you look at the constitution of Nigeria, the government is set up basically to do two things. And people are asking, do we have budget to be? I would say we still have a budget, because if we don't have a budget, we cannot have government run its activities.
Wow! Arguments and counter-arguments on topical issues and events trending in Nigeria. Politics, rule of law, judiciary, economy, trade and commerce, education, security, name it. Issues in the news on OSBC Radio 104.5 FM in Yabu, Kibale, Oshogo is a veritable platform to belong. We are set to serve you hot every Monday between 10 and 10:45 in